2nd of September 2025. Now, this video is something that I was thinking about a lot, and I realized that I owe it to the community to document my trail with bladder cancer. And in this video, I'm not going to spend too much time on technical issues. I want to talk about the psychological struggle for the person that is confronted with the news that he has cancer. Now, in most cases, or let me rather say in a lot of cases, that diagnosis is similar to a death penalty. And people might think that I'm over-dramatizing it, but that's the reality. You are the person that are sitting in front of that doctor, and he gives you the news. And to you, it is like a death penalty. Now, the moment that that happens, your mental state is immediately tested and tried beyond limits that you cannot even imagine in your wildest dreams. But a person that has been sitting in that chair and received that diagnosis will know what I'm talking about. Now, once that diagnosis has been made, you are confronted with options. And the main options is you can make the decision to take the, let's call it, the acceptable route, and that is the medical route, and I'm going to call it the medical route for purpose of a discussion. You can go the medical route, or you can go the natural way. Now, many people refer to the natural way as alternative. I don't see it as an alternative. It's not an alternative. It is the natural way or the medical way. Now, me, I'm a guy that visualize life in images. I'm a visual guy, and I like to use visual images when I tell my stories, because this is what this is today. This is a story, basically. Now, the moment that you are confronted with that diagnosis is basically this guy. You are confronted by a mountain, and you have to get over that mountain. Now, that is the point at which you have to make decisions. Are you going to go the medical way? Or are you going to go the natural way? If you decide on the natural way, you must understand you are going to face a daunting task. Climbing that mountain is going to take a lot of effort on your side, but it is also going to take a lot of discipline, and it is not a shortcut. You have to climb the mountain. You will spend nights on that mountain trail, and those are the nights that doubt will linger on the outskirts of your thoughts, and self-doubt is negative for your state of mind, but it is natural that it will be there. And it is for you to have the discipline to persist on that trail. It's not going to be easy, and you will be climbing that trail alone. Yeah, there's a lot of people that they support you, and they say they support you, and they come with advice and stories, but in the end, it is you that have to climb that mountain. You are on that trail. You and your self-discipline and your perseverance to stick to the route, stick to the trail. And then one morning, there you are. You've reached the top. Now, for me, in my route and journey with bladder cancer, now bladder cancer is serious stuff. I was confronted with a diagnosis that it was aggressive cancer. It has already grown through the bladder wall and penetrated the fat layer around the bladder. But it hasn't spread yet. But it was very aggressive. And I was given options, of which the natural route was one of the options. And that was the option that I chose. So I've been climbing the mountain. Now, for me, in my mind, 3 months on the journey, I went for an MRI. And the MRI clearly indicated an intact bladder wall, nothing outside the bladder, and the growth was contained in the bladder. Now that was, for me, the moment that I hit the summit. And I was standing there where this guy is standing. As I looked at the MRI, I was actually seeing this image. I've reached the top, because the evidence was there. Whatever was outside the bladder wall has gone. So the options that I've chosen has done its job there. I was now in the final stage, coming down the mountain. Now, coming down the mountain, you must understand, coming down that mountain is dangerous. You've got the reality that it is downhill. So if you slip, you will fall far and you will tumble. So you must keep your eyes open and be alert and listen to your body. Listen to your body. Keep to the plan. Keep to the trail. Stay on the trail, but be very aware that on that trail you are now going down. You can step on a loose stone and it can lead to a serious tumble. But stick to it. Focus. Stay true to the trail. That is what you have to do to survive. And then, after a few nights on that trail, you will find yourself here, at the foot of the mountain, walking away from that mountain. You have crossed that mountain. Yeah, there's another mountain in the distance, but you most probably don't even need to go over that one, because if you follow the valley, you can go past that one. But that is the big thing. If you choose the natural way, you must understand you're climbing that mountain. You are going over that mountain on foot. Going up is full of its own challenges. Coming down has got its own challenges. I saw the moment of reaching the summit as the day when I saw that MRI after 3 months, and it was clear. No cancer outside the bladder. And for me it was good news. Yes, some of my supporters were not so impressed with my happiness, let me call it that, and stick to that. But I just smiled and stuck to the route. And I knew, that's it. I made the right choice. And I'm coming down that mountain. I personally feel that I'm very close to this spot where this guy that is now walking away. I'm close there. Because once you've reached the bottom of that mountain, on foot, your future will look like this. Watching the sunset, smiling, feeling the wind on yourself, on your face, drinking your cup of coffee. And then, for me, this is the reality. I have to say thank you. I have to say thank you. Because on my own, I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have done that journey on my own. And I had a lot of resistance when I made my choice and decided to take the path and stick to the trail and cross that mountain on foot. And, well, the other option was this one. I could take a chopper to the summit. It sounds so inviting and so easy, effortless. All I need to do is buy the ticket, get into the chopper, and go for it. And this is the picture that they sell you. You'll reach the summit in the chopper. But what they don't tell you is that a high percentage, extremely high percentage, and I'm not going to name percentages for simple reasons. I want you to understand the principles. They don't tell you how many of those choppers don't reach that summit because of bad weather, they run out of fuel, mechanical problems, and that chopper crash and don't reach the summit. And the percentage of crashes is extremely high. In my life, most recently, a guy that I knew him. He opted for the chopper ride. And then they tell you, once you've reached that summit with the chopper, coming down is a breeze. You're going to take the zip line, and there you go. Enjoy the view as you fly down that mountain on that zip line. But they don't tell you this one. When you reach the bottom of that zip line, there's a hell of a good chance you're going to hit that tree on which that zip line is anchored. And you're going to hit that smack into that tree with force. They don't tell you that. That they don't tell you. They only tell you about the chopper flight and the zip line. And then, this is how you go off that mountain. That's how you go off that mountain. Now compare that, leaving the mountain, like this or like this. I chose this route. This is the route that I chose. But now that guy opens his eyes here, in a wheelchair, full of drips and what, because he smacked that tree at a hell of a speed. None of this was explained by the tour operator. They just sold you the joy of the ride and the thrill of the glide down the zip line. This is the reality. And then, this is my future. This is the path I chose. That's my future. This is the zipline rider's future. And that's the realities. And that is why I'm saying, that day when you get that death penalty, you have the choices. But it is important that once you make the choice, that you stick to the route. Stick to the path over that mountain. Because if you're going to take stupid turnoffs and shortcuts, you may find yourself in deep trouble. The other option is riding the chopper. That sounds nice, sounds easy. But you must understand, riding that chopper is, first of all, extremely expensive. And then they don't tell you about how many choppers fails. They don't tell you that. I have seen it with this guy that I know, how the chopper crashed. He didn't even reach the zip line. He didn't smack into the tree. The chopper crashed before the summit. And it is sad. But then again, I'm a fatalist. And I believe choices has consequences. And if you are not prepared to face the consequences, you must be very sure about your choice. Because we always have choices. I chose the natural route. And yes, it was full of challenges. But the moment that I hit the summit was an enormous moment for me. And I took the road down, took the path down, fully aware of the dangers, but not for a moment taking my eyes off the path. Because you start looking around and getting casual, you're going to step on a loose stone. And who knows where you're going to end up then. The fact of the matter is, it is a challenge going down that mountain. Not the same as getting up, but still it is a challenge. And for me, this is so part of my life, because I cannot do it on my own. I cannot do it on my own. And people cannot assist you. all the way, because it's a narrow path, barely room for one person. But take it, and take it in faith. And yes, you do it like that, and this is where you can end drinking your coffee at sundown. Whereas those that pick the chopper flights, they usually end up here. That's it. I did not want this to be my diet. This is what I want. This is what I saw. And this is what I aimed for when I took the first step on that route. I hope that those that listen to this can get value from this. Because the main message is simply this. You have the choice at that moment that the death sentence is passed. You have the choice. Take the chopper or hit the road. That is your choice. And then you must have the discipline to stick to the trail. Stick to the trail. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing if you found value in it. Thank you for your support.